Hi everyone, thanks for joining us for the last presentation of our SNAP-Ed Community Partnership funding. I'm Jackie Vilheimer, the project coordinator for this initiative, and we're really excited to partner with organizations across Minnesota to make the healthy choice the easy choice for Minnesotans with limited financial resources. Now, our mission and extension is to make a difference by connecting community needs and university resources to address critical issues in Minnesota. University of Minnesota Extension Health and Nutrition programs improve food literacy, physical activity, and healthy food access for Minnesotans to promote health and reduce disparities using university resources and proven educational and engagement strategies. In our section of health and nutrition programs, SNAP Education, we're funded federally. It's a federal program of the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Food and Nutrition Service. The goal of SNAP-Ed is to improve the likelihood that persons eligible for SNAP will make healthy choices within a limited budget and choose active lifestyles consistent with the current dietary guidelines for Americans and MyPlate. Now, I'd just like to give you some background about SNAP Education. First of all, there are a lot of acronyms that are thrown around often, especially within this initiative. SNAP stands for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, and it used to be referred to as food stamps. And to clarify, SNAP through the USDA is the program that actually distributes the funding that eligible people receive, whereas SNAP Education is the nutrition education and obesity prevention component. And in Minnesota, funding from SNAP-Ed comes from the USDA and is then distributed to the Department of Human Services. From the Department of Human Services, there are two different entities that receive the funding. One is Extension, our organization, and Extension is located throughout Minnesota in 5 different regions, and we have SNAP-Ed staff who are located in those 5 different regions working to distribute SNAP Education programming. The other entity that receives the funding is the Minnesota Chippewa Tribe, and they reach 6 different reservations in Minnesota. Now, moving forward, SNAP Education is broadening its lens, but I'd like to give you a little bit of background about what SNAP-Ed looked like before 2014. SNAP-Ed used to take on a more focused approach with direct education for individuals and families, and what that means is that the programming was targeting SNAP-eligible people with education, perhaps in a classroom setting that included cooking skills and nutrition education and information about physical activity that would then strengthen their knowledge and skills. And moving forward, there's still a large emphasis on direct education. However, we're broadening the scope, and now SNAP-Ed is using an approach to include activities that promote changes in policies, systems, and environments that enable individuals to make healthy food and physical activity choices. In addition to direct nutrition education, SNAP-Ed implementers must also influence multiple organizational and institutional levels and use community and public health approaches. These examples that are listed on this slide are also included in the RFP, but I'd also like to share with you a video that we've produced in the SNAP Education Department, made by Hannah Jastrom and a number of other SNAP-Ed staff, called Schoolhouse Broccoli, and it really does a good job of showing the holistic approach that we're emphasizing moving forward. And this specific example is in a school setting.
This is Brock. He and his family benefit from health and nutrition's work all the time. Let's see how. Before school, Brock's little sister Collie gets dropped off at daycare. Last week, Extension educator Aggie the Eggplant trained the child care providers to serve whole grains. Collie and her friends now get to taste test new whole grain snacks each week at daycare. Brock's older brother Terry, who is a sophomore at the high school, now eats breakfast at school. Thanks to the breakfast grant Aggie's been working on, Terry eats the grab-and-go breakfast provided near the school's main entrance. Last year, Aggie trained all the teachers in the school district on classroom energizers to help students get 30 minutes of daily physical activity in the classroom. Today, Brock's teacher used the Energizer kernels in the popper to reinforce what the students are learning in the science curriculum. Before you know it, it's time for lunch, and Brock heads to the cafeteria. Over the summer, Aggie trained the school's food service staff on serving fruits and vegetables in ways that would appeal to students, and lowering the sodium content of the school meals. With the help of SNAP Ed educator Sally the Summer Squash, local potatoes are on the menu. These potatoes were aggregated at a food hub, in which Aggie's help was instrumental. In the afternoon, Brock's teacher takes the class out to the school garden. The teachers and staff went through Aggie's School Garden 101 training last spring and are incorporating it into the school's healthy environment in many ways. Sally has helped bring together organizations to plant school and community gardens all over Brockstown, guided in part by the recommendations in the food charter guide that Aggie has contributed to. After the school day is over, Brock waits for his mom, Carrie, to finish a wellness committee meeting. Sally is also on this committee. They are able to implement wellness efforts and policies in Brock's school thanks to technical assistance from Aggie and funds and support from SHIP. Health and nutrition, working together to make the healthy choice the easy choice for Minnesota families.
Hopefully that video helped you get a more solid idea of what we're hoping to achieve moving forward and giving you more background about policy systems and environmental change that will be included in SNAP education moving forward. Now, to introduce you to this initiative, the SNAP Ed Community Partnership Funding Initiative is a chance for Extension SNAP Ed program to learn from partners throughout the state about ways to incorporate policy, system, and environmental changes within organizations and communities to promote healthy eating and active living. The reason we're doing this is because the funding provides a unique opportunity to step back and assess where, how, and with whom SNAP Ed staff work in community settings to affect the greatest positive changes in healthy eating and active living for SNAP-eligible persons. And SNAP-eligible persons specifically, you'll see this information in the RFP, but that means people living at or below 185% the federal poverty guidelines. These projects funded through this initiative will help guide future SNAP Ed work. The way that we're doing this is by contracting with organizations or a group of organizations or a coalition through the request for proposals. Organizations will work with Extension SNAP Ed staff to develop and implement strategies for combining education with changes in policies, systems, and environments. Combined approaches are intended to break down barriers and pave the way for families with limited financial resources to make healthy food and physical activity choices. So that goes full circle to the direct education expanding its view and considering the whole environment around the people who are participating and making a robust approach to SNAP education. Also, tools will be developed to measure and document the success of projects. Our expectations with this RFP are that community partners are expected to develop models for collaborative planning and delivery of SNAP Ed programming by fall of 2016. Community partners will model processes for assessing community needs, building partnerships, planning projects, and/or piloting projects. Over a 6 to 12 month period, each community partner will work with other organizations and individuals, including SNAP Ed staff, to develop one idea that shows promise for improving conditions in order to facilitate healthy eating and/or increase physical activity among residents with limited financial resources. And the 6 to 12 month period is a window. However, we assume that people will take advantage of the full 12-month period and We will be here supporting you throughout that process. Also, each idea or model must incorporate at least 2 levels on the spectrum of prevention, and at least one of those levels must involve policy systems and environmental changes, and that's levels 4, 5, or 6. So I'd like to move on and give you more background about what the spectrum of prevention is, because we talk about these levels and sometimes it can be overwhelming or get foggy to really understand what we're expecting from this RFP. So the spectrum of prevention is a tool that provides a framework for addressing public health issues like obesity or food access in a holistic manner. And again, there are a lot of models that you'll see in public health, and they look nice to the eye, but not everybody knows exactly what to do with them when you're looking at the big picture. So the way I like to look at this spectrum prevention model is that when you're talking about direct education, you look at the first 3 levels, which are strengthening individual knowledge and skills, promoting community education, and educating providers. And then when we say that at least one of levels 4, 5, or 6 should be included, that means including fostering coalitions and networks, changing organizational practices, or influencing policy and legislation. And by no means are you limited to using only 2. You could do all 6 and really get yourself a home run, but at least 2 from the whole spectrum should be included, and at least 1 from the top 3 in the spectrum prevention. Now, the benefits to community partners include financial benefits, social, and support for future opportunities. Under financial benefits, you'll receive funding for carrying out your work as it intersects with the purpose of this RFP. The social benefits include an opportunity to demonstrate your leadership in making communities healthier places for Minnesotans with limited financial resources. That also means capitalizing on this time to dive into the community and really connect with them in a new way, thinking of creative ways to pursue this proposal and building the relationships and getting to know the people with whom you're working. And finally, we'll be providing technical assistance for evaluation from Extension staff, which may be used to support further projects and funding. So we look at this as a launch pad, really a way to build a good foundation and then move forward with a sustainable view for your project. And the hope is that this gives you the opportunity to start off strong and think big for the future with this project funding. The way that we're doing this is by awarding 10 to 20 contracts statewide. Each contract has the opportunity to receive between $25,000 and $100,000. And as I mentioned before, this will occur over a 6 to 12 month period. And a project brief and full proposal are both required. So consider it a 2-step process in this application. And the project brief will first be reviewed by a committee, and then you will receive feedback. And then considering that feedback, you can move forward and fill out a full proposal and submit it. And I'll be talking more about the deadlines and details of the brief and full proposal in a little while. And the awards are based on availability of SNAP-Ed funding. Project briefs must be received by 5 p.m. on July 20th, 2015, but applicants are encouraged to submit briefs as soon as possible so Extension staff can provide feedback in a timely manner. And that also gives you time to receive the feedback and really think about what you want to do moving forward and if the proposal is something that you want to pursue after you receive feedback. I encourage you to use the Word document that includes the project brief questions located on our website. It's a great way to save all of your work and use it as a template if you do decide to move forward with the full proposal. In addition, you will have a one-shot chance on the official brief survey to fill in your information. And what that means is that you can only submit it once. Otherwise, if you do submit it and decide that you want to take it back, I can delete it online and then you can get another chance to fill it out, but you can't save your work. And then the full proposals must be received by 5 p.m. on August 24th, 2015. Send proposals to me, Jackie Billheimer, at the web address listed. The proposal document must be no longer than 10 pages, excluding attachments. The full proposal must be presented in one PDF document with consecutively numbered pages, and the text must be no smaller than 11-point font. And you can read more about the proposal details and the brief details in our RFP. The proposal details are on pages 7 through 10 in the RFP. So who will you be partnering with? Funding is open to current SNAP-Ed partners and new partners, although collaboration with Extension SNAP-Ed staff is required. And that is really the cornerstone of this initiative, is that we are looking to learn from our partnerships through the SNAP-Ed staff collaborations that are going to be made. Projects will be funded throughout the state, so all regions will be represented. And a community partner may be the lead organization representing a coalition or collaborative and may be one of the following: government agency, nonprofit organization, nonprofit member-based organization, nonprofit educational institution, or a faith-based organization. And SNAP-Ed staff will work with organizations that are awarded contracts. And in the following slide, I'll tell you more about the details of what each of our SNAP-Ed staff does. SNAP-Ed educators deliver classes to improve food literacy, food access, and food skills through partnerships with multiple agencies. SNAP-Ed educators promote PSE changes to support SNAP-Ed participants in making the healthy choice the easy choice. SNAP-Ed regional coordinators supervise SNAP-Ed educators and develop relationships and partnerships with agencies. Regional coordinators also promote policy systems and environmental changes. And finally, Extension educators work to bring about PSE changes by providing support to partners and colleagues in efforts like Farm to School, school gardens, active school day, healthy foods and childcare, farmers markets, and healthy food environments and food shelves. Providing training for school food service professionals, classroom teachers, and childcare providers. Supporting the Extension SNAP-Ed program with content expertise. And finally, coordinating regional food networks. If you need any more information about collaborating with our SNAP-Ed staff, you can contact me or Ryan Johnson, and we can help you locate a SNAP-Ed staff member in your region or someone who's the best fit for your project. Also, the contact information for Extension SNAP-Ed staff can be found in the RFP. So when will this be happening? In front of me is our timeline for due dates and events that are coming up. On July 20th by 5 p.m., the project briefs will be due. We are receiving those project briefs on a rolling basis, so we encourage you to get your project brief in as soon as possible, and we will be giving feedback in accordance with that. So feedback will be given to you no later than August 3rd for your project briefs. By August 24th at 5 p.m., full proposals are due, and by September 11th, you'll be finding out if your full project proposals are selected, and you'll be receiving feedback with those. In October, this is our target for contracts to begin. We don't yet have a specific date. And then on November 17th is our kickoff for meeting organizations selected and SNAP-Ed staff. On April 7th through the 8th in 2016, workshops for organizations selected and SNAP-Ed staff will happen. So I'd like to show you some of the resources that we have available on our website if you're not yet familiar, and even if you have taken a look, there's a lot to go through and a lot of information that will be really helpful. So at the top of our webpage, we have the request for proposal, and that is really the golden nugget that will guide you through this whole process, including the project brief, details on the timeline that I mentioned before, and details about how to fill out your full proposal if you decide to proceed with that. The project brief questions are then located under information about the project brief. The project brief submission form is also located there. The project examples are also located on this page. And then some helpful resources that you can find include the Regional Food Access Profile, and that gives you sociodemographic information about each region in Minnesota. Under related resources, you'll find SNAP-Ed information. You'll also find the Spectrum Prevention information. Spectrum Prevention is brought to you by the Prevention Institute in California. And then a really helpful resource is PSE 101, where you can dive deeper into what policy systems and environmental work looks like throughout the nation. They give really great current examples of interventions that have happened, and that might help you to either solidify your ideas or think of other ideas that will help you along in the process. And finally, the Minnesota Food Charter information provides you a roadmap designed to guide policymakers and community leaders in providing Minnesotans with equal access to affordable, safe, and healthy food regardless of where they live. Thank you so much for joining us today. And to any of you who are revisiting the website, we're really grateful that you've joined us on our other webinars. Please tell people who are curious about this before July 20th that these resources are available. And if you have any questions, please contact Ryan Johnson with the information listed above, or myself, Jackie Billheimer, and we will be happy to answer any of those questions.